Hello, everyone. Today, we want to progress with our series of lectures and seminars on research methodology. And I want to pay attention to table of content insertion, table of content insertion in today's lecture. Presenting this lecture based on question raised by some of my students, and it's part of research skills development. You've written your paper. There's a need to do the formatting and put the table of content in the right place. I want to pick one of the papers written by one of our PG students to illustrate this discussion, and I've taken permission from him. All right, the title of the paper is Islamic Narrative of Ismail in the Context of Abrahamic Judaism. Usually you may want to make this bold. For this, I would click bold, or sometimes you use Ctrl+B on your computer. So we have the title submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirement for a study at your level, whatever be your level. You put the dates there. And the next part is the abstract according to this writer. Now, what I would do in order for me to program the paper so that I'll be able to generate the table of content later is to come to the right side of my Microsoft Word. You see where my cursor is? I'll bring it up again here, depending on the Microsoft Word that you are using. So I'll click here to prop up the designs and styles that I'll be using to format my paper, and also to program the paper in order to generate the table of contents later. Now I have the abstract here. So for the abstract, I want to give it a heading. I don't want to give it heading 1. Heading 1 usually is very big. I can give it heading 2. Heading 2 is appropriate. Currently, when I clicked heading 2, it gives me calibrate light heading. Top left, that's the title given it. Calibrate light heading. So I come back to the box and I want to edit it. So I come back to my right side, heading 2, click that arrow, come to modify, and under modify, another box will prop up. Now I need to program this box to provide the kind of information I want heading 2 to follow throughout this paper. The color is blue. I'll change it to black, automatic black. The heading is calibrate light heading. I may want to change it to Times New Roman. And the size, the font size is 13. I may make it 14. And if I want it bold, I click bold. And after that, I can come and ask it to automatically update it. Center down the box, automatic update. And I can also ask it to update new documents in the same way, using the same template. And I'll click OK. Before I click OK, I'll go through it again. My right side heading 2, I click it, and follow modify. Modify box comes up and I look through to program it. Time new Romans times new Roman 14. Bold. Automatically updates. Then down the box, new documents based on this template. If I want to do it again, in the subsequent paper, I will also follow the same method to go the same direction. So I'll now click OK. See, that's my abstract. Then let me go to another, I want to proceed to another subheading. This is table of content that was put there manually. Presently, I want to delete it. I don't want it there because I will automatically generate a table of content later. Now, at the end of my abstract, I want to instruct the next title to go to a different page. For that, I need to come up to the information at the top part of my Microsoft Word document. You can click each of the titles and see the information available for you, which you can use. When I click Insert, lower part of the insert, there are a lot of boxes that come up, which include page number. I can straight away put page number in my work. I want it at bottom page, and I want the pages at the center of the page. And I've done it. Although I'll come back to this later because the page numbering or the first few pages of your paper should be different from the numbering from your introduction. The abstract and acknowledgement, the table of content page, they could be numbered differently so that from your introduction to the end of your paper will be numbered also differently. But let's do that in another presentation. So you click Insert, you see a lot of boxes coming up and decide which one is useful for you and use them. Let's come to references. When I click references, I have endnotes, footnotes here. If I need footnotes, I will use it in my paper writing. Come to the center page of your paper. You have style. We have APA. You have Chicago. Let me see what I have here. APA, Chicago, Harvard, Anglia, MLA, Tuberian. So whichever kind of references you want to use, you just go for it. I personally use APA, so that's why I have APA here. Then look through and see whichever is still relevant to you. At the end of this presentation, I will use the one I have on my left side, which is table of contents. I don't want to use it now because I've not completed programming of my subtitles. I don't need it now. Now let's come to review. Under review, you have editor that can do a kind of soft proofreading for you, not a thorough one, but at least can help you in your editing to some extent. Then you can check your grammar. Then word counts. Then we also have track changes, which I can handle in another presentation. All right, let's look at view. Under view, come to navigation plane. You see to my left now, you see abstract coming up. So at the end of this presentation, when we come here and we click navigation pane, all the subtitles will be seen on the left side of this paper, which will be a kind of mini table of contents, but it's not really what we are looking for. So just click any of the top titles, you will see information that you can use. And that is first part of what I'm doing. Now, before we go, I was talking of moving the introduction to a different page automatically, not just manually. So at the end of my abstract, I want any other information to go to a different page. So I come up here and click layout. After clicking the layout, I have bricks to my left side. That's brick. If I click these bricks, I have the first one, mark the point at which one page ends and the next page begins. If I click this first one, it means that where I have my cursor now is the end of abstract, and that page has ended. If I come up now and click this page, this information, anything after this point will go to a different page. Let's try it. But before I try, let me explain other information we have here. We have column, we have text wrapping, we have next page. Let me look at this also. This is very important. If you click this one, it means insert a session break and start the new section on the next page. What this one means is, assuming this is the end of chapter 1 of my work, if I click next page here, this one that I have my cursor on is going to be the beginning of another session or another chapter. Meaning that my footnotes also can change. When you do the numbering of your footnotes in a particular chapter and the footnote increases to 50, if you want to go to chapter 2 and use this next page break, on starting another chapter, let's call it chapter 2, your footnote will start from 1 again. So you start numbering footnote again from 1 to 20 to 30 until you complete that chapter. And at the end of that chapter, if you use this page break, the following chapter footnote will start from 1 again. It helps you to have manageable number of footnotes. Rather than you are writing a very big book and your footnotes is now increasing to 1,000, 1,004, 2008 footnotes. It will be too much. You can still just have certain limits or have a kind of limit to the number of footnotes you have in your whole paper by just breaking the footnotes into chapters. But back to where we are, after the abstract, I want to move to a different page. I'll come to layout, breaks. I will select, which one should I select? Should I select this or this? It's not a section break. It is a page break. I can use section break if I want to change my numbering style, because for abstract, table of content, acknowledgement, the numbering is different. So for this paper, let us say we have ended a section because I'm going to introduction, which is the beginning of my real paper. And I want my numbering to change, page number to change. So I'll come up here, I'll pick this one so that it will be insert a section break and start the new section on the next page. With this, my numbering will change. Now, how to know? I will explain very soon. Now, let us progress with our style. So I put my cursor and highlight my introduction, and I want this also to be heading 2. Heading 2. That's my heading 2. Okay. Now let's go to heading 3. Now we have prophethood in Islam here. It is not heading 3. It is a subheading under introduction. I assume, it's not my paper. I'm asking, I got permission to use this. So if this is a subheading, introduction, I'll make it to be heading 3. Heading 3 will be smaller. And for this, I can edit or modify my heading 3. I want black. And I still want new time, or Times New Roman, sorry. And I want it to be smaller. Heading 2 is 14. I will leave down this one up. And I don't want it bold. Then I want it to automatically update and also use it in a new document. And I click OK. All right. Then let's go to the next one. The next one is a main topic. So that would be heading 2. Heading 2. And this one is subheading, heading 3. Then we'll go down to the next one, family of Abraham. That is heading 3, heading 2, another main topic. Let's keep going. Zamzam well, if that is heading 3, small heading under Abraham's family. Then we'll keep going. Kaaba, I don't know if that is a major heading or subheading. Just give it the right heading. If you want it to be subheading or a major heading. Is Kaaba a major heading or minor heading? Okay, for this one, let's call it major heading, heading 2. And then come up to the next one. The next one is the sacrifice. You can call it heading 2, main heading. And then sacrifice of Ismail's message, heading 2. You can correct all this later if they are not the right headings. Then the next one, Prophet Ismail in the context of the Judaist narrative of Abraham. That is a major heading, heading 2. Then let's keep going. You know, our focus is how to insert table of content. Okay, now let's look at this critique. Critique should be a major heading, heading 2. And then I assume the next will be the conclusion also. Oh, conclusion. Conclusion is a major heading, heading 2. And then your bibliography is a major heading, heading 2. Now, when you come to your left side, you click any of those topics, it will take you to where it is in your paper. Now, initially, we're talking about section break. The numbering of each section can change because they belong to different headings or section. So for the first one now, I want to renumber the page. So let us come to Insertion and look for the page numbering. Then format page number. And then I want a different numbering system. I want this Roman numeral and continue or start at 1. Then click it. You can now say for my title page is 1, abstract is 2, and introduction should be different. This one says is 3, but the 3 is different. So I need to give another instruction here because it's a different section. My introduction should start from page 1. So I now come to page number. and give instruction under formatting and ask it to start at 1. So for my introduction now, it's starting at page 1. That is why when you open your books, the title page and forward, they are written under different page number or numbering. Then when you now get to introduction, you just start with page 1. That's what we just done now in this paper formatting. Okay, we left one undone. There's prophethood in Islam. Let's give it heading 2. Okay, we've done so much now. There are other things we can do in formatting our paper, and that is spacing. Let's start from introduction. You see that there is no space between introduction and the first sentence. You can give a command that will allow space between your introduction or your heading and your paper. How to do that? You come up to modify. When the box comes up, and click the arrow that goes on opposite direction to create more space. And look at the diagram here. You see the space increasing. When I click this box, the space in between introduction and the first line will increase. Are you ready to watch? Let us say, ready, go. It has increased. I'll do it again to see it widening. It has increased again. But it's too much. I need to close it a bit. Come to the next box, click it, it's closing a bit. And now ask it to automatically update and click OK. See, there's a space now between introduction and your first sentence. If you want it to be wider than that, you can come back to modify, increase it again by 1. And click OK. So it has increased. So with that, for all your heading 2, there will be a space between your title, the title of your heading, and your first sentence. Let's go down, see another heading, heading 2. Let's look at this another heading. This one, this heading, that will be heading 3. Yeah, it's heading 3, yeah. But the space is so close to the first sentence, you can come to modify and widen the gap and click OK. It has increased. All right. Then let's look for more. See, family of Abraham, there's a space between that heading and the first sentence. Samuel, I think there's a space there because you gave the instruction in the first one. So that is how to do that. Although for this paper, usually we want to have at least 2 subheadings. If you have heading here, there's only 1 subheading here. That should be up to 2 in paper writing, but we're just using this as a sample. Under Samuel, there should be another small subheading here. Or less for practice purpose, we can make Kahaba a small subheading. So that have up to 2 here. But we need 1 more here. But that's not our focus. Our focus is how to insert table of contents. So with this, you have your page number in order to, and at the end of that, we start with introduction now, another page 1, the end. Let's look at the bibliography. Come to your left side, bibliography, see where it is. And you can also give instruction to your bibliography to be on a separate page. For this paper, it is on a separate page. But if you keep editing your work, it's likely your bibliography will be on the same page with your work. It's nice to give instruction to your bibliography to be on a separate page. Let me do some adjustment so that your bibliography will be on the same page with your paper, and then we'll give instruction to it to go to a different page. And as you keep editing and proofreading your work, there will not be any time when your bibliography will be on the same page with your paper, because it doesn't have to be. All right, let's see how to do that. I want to make this single space. When we write our paper, we also give instruction to our papers on how the space should look. Since this is like bullet point, it doesn't have to be double space like the rest of the paper. So I'll come up to Home on my Microsoft Word, and I click this box that gives me the opportunity to either make it a single space, 1.15 space, or 1.5 space. On this occasion, I'll make it a single space. And if I have any other bullet points, I can make them single space. Let me look through if there's any other bullet point there. I make it single space. Make it single space. Here's another one. These are critiques, though. I can make it single space. Now, let me highlight all. And we can make it 1.5 space. All right, come up here, you have Home, then come under spacing and make it single space if you like, or 1.15. Let's retain the same style we've been using, single space for our bullet points. So we'll have more, we omitted some. Let's increase it. All right, single space, all done. Now let us see where our bibliography is. Here we go. You can see your bibliography is on page 10 and your conclusion ends on page 10. We now have to give instruction or give a command that your bibliography should go to a different page, but not a different section. A different section will mean your footnote will start changing. You don't need footnote in bibliography anyway. But bibliography is part of your work. So let it just go to a different page. So come up to Layout, come to Breaks, and pick the first one. Mark the point at which one page ends and the next page begins. So I click after my conclusion here. I want anything that follows my conclusion to go to a different page. Come to Layout, Breaks, and command it to go to a different page, not a different section, just a different page. Just as I've said it, that's gone. So initially, your bibliography was on page 10. It has gone to page 11. You can move it up a bit, but it doesn't have to go to page 10 again. And that is it. So finally, we now want to bring up the of contents into the body of the work. But it is good to do the numbering. So for the numbering, come to introduction, depending on the kind of numbering you use for your paper presentation. You can use Roman numeral, 1, point, space. And for the second one, click it on your left. Then 2, full stop, space. For the 3, click it on your left. 1, 2, 3, full stop, space. And the next one is a sub-heading. So it has to be not like small letter A, full stop, space. This is what I was talking about. There should be B in a proper paper. You have A, you need B before you continue your work. But let's leave it like that for now, because our focus is paper of contents, not this paper as a whole. And we thank the person that gave us the paper to use for this illustration. Now, we've done 3. The next is 4. 4. We use capital 4. And we come to Zamzam well. It's a subheading. We have A. I would like to use small, whichever is going, let's say A. And capital letter. Okay, that's subsection A. Kahaba now. We have B. Under sacrifice is a major heading, and that would be 5. 5. And significance is 6. 6. Then, what am I doing? It should be 6. 6. 6. And the next is 7. 7. Full stop, space. Critique 8. And conclusion. Sometimes, if you number your introduction, it is also appropriate to number your conclusion. And some people don't number their introduction, so they don't number their conclusion. So for this one, we numbered our introduction. So let us number our conclusion. And this one will be 9. Is that correct? All right. Then we don't number our bibliography. Okay. So we've numbered our work now. So let's go back to the title. We have the abstract. So after the abstract, you may want to put your table of contents now. So table of contents. So we click our table. We click. Put the cursor there. The cursor. And then we move up to reference. We come up to reference. Then left side of your reference, extreme left side, you have table of contents. You click it. Then you have some options. The first option here is automatic table 1. You can go for it. And the other one is automatic table 2. And another one is manual table. There's no point using manual table because you've programmed your paper already. So I like table 2. You can pick table 1 if you like. So I'll go for table 2, which is automatic. After clicking it, my table of contents comes up automatically at the right page number. The next thing we need to do here is to make sure we move the table of contents to a different page from the abstract. How do you do that? As we did before, you come up to layout, breaks, and then instruct anything that follows after your abstract, where you put the cursor initially, to go to a different page. Mark the point at which one page ends and the next page begins. Don't do a different section. It's not a different section. It is a different page. You click it, it's gone. So now we have your title page. We have your abstract. You have your table of contents. You can move it up a bit. Contents. And you have your introduction. You see, there was no page 3 of this before because it wasn't necessary. Now that you are putting your table of contents there, it creates another page, which is page 3. And the next one will be page 1 for your introduction. It's programmed already. This is page 1 for introduction. And this is page 3, because you entered it into that section that belongs to title page, abstract. You inserted your table of content into it. It creates page 3 for you in that section. And the last section you have is from your introduction, which is the body of your work. Now you ask me, can you still modify anything here? Yes, you can. This blue color, you can change it to black if you like. Want it black, it's black. And because you've increased the number of pages, you ask to automatically update. Click update, update the entire table, click OK. But before I click OK, let me cancel. The abstract here is page 2, okay? But we do not have table of content programmed. So you can program your table of content by bringing up, come to home, bring up your styles, highlight your table of content only, and make it heading 2, as we were doing before. Heading 2. Or the heading 2, I still want it black. All right, the next thing I want to do is to ask you to update. Update. I want to remove this style. What's happening? So you see abstract page 2. There's no table of content on this table of content itself, no page for it. So let's come to update. Update the entire table. Click OK. Click OK. All right, let's bring the table of content outside of the box. Copy. Just 1 second. All right, wait a minute. All right, I want to put table of contents here in order to program it. Copy, paste, or you type it, make it black so as to be like others. I'll actually delete this one. So I now want to program this table of contents so that it also have a page number. So I come up to home, bring up my style, program it to be 3. Okay. So click the table of contents itself and follow this instruction. Do you want to update your table of contents? Yes. Update the entire table and click OK. And see now inside the box you have abstract, page 2, table of contents, page 3, your introduction, page 1. Everything has fallen in line. Your bibliography, page 11. And that is how it will look like throughout your work. So since you have put your table of contents, you've programmed your table of contents, so you should be able to navigate your paper now. Under View, you allow navigation plane. So you'll be able to see the table of content on your left as I have it now on the screen. You can see my table of contents. I can go to chapter 1, introduction. I can go to 2, I can click 3. I have 3A, no 3B, which is an error when the person who has this paper should work on B. Then 5, I have A, 5B, sacrifice, and then this other one, conclusion, bibliography. And bibliography must be on a different page. So that is that. If you are able to program your headings, then definitely it will be possible for you to insert your table of contents automatically. The benefit of this is that as you keep reading your work, proofreading your work, adding to it, deleting some, you just come back to your table of content and update. All those page numbers will be there and they're accurate. Rather than you flipping to page 10, come back to table of content and put 10, flip back to page 25, come back to table of content and put 25. After 2 days of editing or proofreading your work again, all the pages have changed. You still manually go back and put them there. You don't need that anymore if you can follow these steps. I hope this video will be helpful to the students who requested for it. And any other person who watches it in the future, I hope it will be useful for them too. And if they leave any question, if I had the opportunity, I'll get back to them. So everyone, you have a wonderful day and God bless.